everybody. Welcome to this very special edition of Gospel Tea. I am Tyra here with my girl Standra as always. Hey. But Standra, tell the good people about our very special guest we have in store for today.
Yes, indeed. Today, to celebrate our love and marriage edition, we have our wonderful husbands. We have Brother Rodney Booker, come to the stage. And my dear beloved Brother Austin Harris.
Hey.
You guys are in for a treat. So, fellas, we're going to give you just a few seconds to say hello to the people and tell us what you're sipping on today. What are you guys sipping on? Rodney, what are you sipping on?
Hello, everyone. I'm just sipping on a little love and friendship and just adorning my wife today.
Oh, nice, Rodney.
I'm just over here getting drunk in love.
Wonderful. Okay, this is as you all can see, it's going to be a wonderful episode. We're actually going to do this in 2 parts, so Make sure you stick around for both episodes this week and next time. And so, Tyra, get us kicked off today.
Okay. So, Rodney and Austin, it's very nice to have you both with us today. So we're going to break this up. Like Standra said, it's a 2-part series, and we're going to be talking about love. And so in this very first segment, we wanted to just share with the people, share a little bit about our individual love stories, how we met, all that good stuff. And then we also wanted to ask a question. So we want to just kind of explore the idea of love. And then we're going to ask you guys a question following up after we talk about our stories just a little bit, okay? All right, so we're going to kick it off with the Bookers. Standra, Rodney, tell us how the magic began.
Oh, the magic. Such a wonderful story. So, 6 years ago now, almost, maybe 7? Lose track. We met on the wings of cyberspace. Then we had our first date at Starbucks. And so we ended up meeting each other for the first time and being there and talking for about 3 hours. It was a wonderful, wonderful day. I remember it like it was yesterday. And so from there, we realized, there's something special about this person. Can't wait to go out again. But oh, snap, I was leaving for China in the next couple of days. And so then you start thinking, okay, well, is this person going to wait around? I wasn't going to be gone, a week and a half, but still, these days and times, you didn't know. You didn't know how frequently he was going out and about. So once I came back from China, he was still around. And so we started our little journey. I met his kids, and the rest is history for Brother Booker to tell. Pick up the story from there.
All right, so like I said, it was a amazing experience. Just meeting her and actually being able to, connect that quickly. It's not something we expected at all. So just moving forward and having to enjoy. We were just doing a holiday season as well. So, we shared Thanksgiving and Christmas and Valentine's together, and just to be at a new relationship and having all of those holidays right upon you. And not being over stressed out or anything like that. Just to let you know it was something different.
Mm-hmm. It was. And so, because it was so wonderful and it's so amazing, he decided to pop the question, right? 4 months in. 4 months in. It was fast. It was like
I remember.
But it felt right. And so we got married, and here we are. So there were times throughout that period where beginning, you're not really sure, but there was a point when I realized that he's the one. That time came when he was late for a function, and my cutoff game is strong. Okay, I don't really have a lot of time to play, and so I realized the fact that I'm sitting here waiting and waiting. And Tyra, I know you don't remember me calling you, telling you this man got me waiting. And you were like, well, why am I sitting here waiting? He eventually showed up. There was dinner involved. He ended up, making amends. But I realized two things then. Number one, I'm probably going to always be waiting on him. And two, he's worth it.
Oh, he's worth the wait. Worth the wait, Rodney.
Yes.
Definitely. Like I said, just the fact that Standra, just in that short amount of time, like you said, between we meeting in November and proposal in February, that she was so patient, because like I said, my life then and even now has a lot of moving parts, and allowing her to, her just taking the time to make sure she fits in and, just really coming in and getting in where she fit in and making it all work and a whole lot better. So, definitely let me know that, hey, this is the one.
Yeah.
So what about you guys? Tell us how you met and how you knew this was the thing you should do.
Well, I got kidnapped. So, she can tell you the story of how.
He got what now?
She kidnapped me. So I'll let her tell the story.
I was there. I mean, I wasn't there, but I was around, and I'm not sure I'm familiar with the kidnap version of this, but go ahead.
Not sure I'm familiar with it. Do tell.
When you grabbed me from behind, and I was coming out the side, and then you snatched me up, and
Oh, okay. So that was made up in here. He
that's like when you grab his heart.
Yeah. All that imaginative work that happens in there. So let me just bring it into the reality. But we met at Nova, Southeastern University. I was a grad student. He was a professional staff member. And I had moved from the DC area down to Florida, and I was singularly focused on getting my degree. That's all. And then one day we were in a meeting, like an offsite meeting, to talk about how to make the university better. And they paired you. You didn't know who you were going to be paired with. And so Austin and I got put into the same group. And that's the first time I had really seen him and got to talk with him and be in the same space with him. And I thought he was cute. I was like, oh, look at him. He was a little sickly. Yeah, he was fighting a cold or something. A little questionable, but his immune system.
When you had a cold, Austin?
Yeah, I might have had. This was pre-COVID, so I might have had a little congestion or something. Might have been dealing with something that day. I think it was. Yeah.
So we then started to see each other more often on campus. Just, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? And then one day, I think things personally changed for him, and he sparked up a conversation. We exchanged numbers. We started dating. And, and it wasn't like in the dating time, it was kind of like, I don't know, Lord, I don't know. We were, and we still are very different. I think we're very opposite each other. And, but we started dating. He was a strength to me as I finished my dissertation, and we got through all that. And then he, asked me to marry him. And I said yes, and I knew, I knew before that, but do you want to say anything else about the story? How we met? Like any factual pieces that you want to actually put in?
What I think what you're leaving out too is, the amount of recon that she did on me before that. So it wasn't, she did a background check. Who knew,
I'm a researcher. Dr. Booker understands this. This is what we do.
So she was well ahead of the game before I was, but I think kind of when we had that breakout session, like she said, that was our first introduction, and I would just see her around campus. I was actually in a relationship with someone at the time, but then that ended, and then lo and behold, I think she left me a note. She sent me an email because my role on campus was I was assistant director of aquatics, and so where she lived, my office was at her residence. So by the pool. So, you know, one day it was like this this recognition of Nova Southeastern was recognized to having, you know, was top
pools.
Yeah, it was top 10 in pools of collegiate pools. And so she sent me that article knowing that I was the person that was, you know, in aquatics. And so I was like, I was like, you know, someone who took the time to actually, you know, take notice what I was doing and just wanted to reach out. I thought that
she noticed.
Yeah, very touching. And then later on, I find out because of where her residence was, I would frequently pass her window.
Very much frequently.
So again, not knowing all this, you know, I was being
stalking him. Go ahead.
It might be a borderline. I think I was being watched.
Here we go. We're very We're very.
I was watched on a number of occasions, but
yes.
But fast forward, you know, I think once we did exchange numbers and we got to talking, and I think it was right around her birthday when I think that was our first day, her birthday. And so, I mean, just, you know, when you know someone, they're easy. Like Tyra's very easy. I felt very comfortable being myself with her. And I think, you know, we really established a strong friendship before anything. I think that's kind of like led where the love sparks from, because it's like, you know, people, I know it's very cliche, people always say you're marrying your best friend, but in this case, I really felt like she was my best friend. So.
Yeah. And I'll just say, I think I knew with Austin, I was keeping a prayer journal, but it was more like a lament and Lord, what, and questions and stuff, right? You know, you put all the stuff in the prayer journal. But I think one night, Austin and I think it was something like, I don't think this is going to work. You know, I would do that from time to time on occasion. I don't think this is going to work no more. And so
Cut off.
He expressed his heart in such a way, and he said some things that confirmed some things that I wrote in my prayer journal that he never saw. And then the way that he expressed himself, it was so pure, and it was like, Lord, I want to know that somebody really loves me for who I am. And as he spoke, like all the walls came down, and I knew that. And so, yeah, I think that was the time I knew.
Wonderful, wonderful, yes. What's interesting though is that we both, like Austin and Rodney, you guys met through us, but for Tyra and I, we were there for each other's stories.
Yes.
And so it's also, it's always good to kind of go back down. Remember, yes, I remember those phone calls of, he just walked past my window again, and there's this guy, a black car, right? Yeah, the black car. Yeah. He drives this black car, and blah blah blah. Here we are. How wonderful.
Yeah. I remember Rodney. Didn't Rodney take you to the airport or?
Yes.
No, like, huh?
Yes, I needed a ride to the airport.
In the middle of the workday.
See there? I was like, that's a good guy. That's a good guy right there. We knew early on.
It was becoming clearer then.
Yeah.
3 days in. So, yeah.
So, I think it's good for us to remember, because I feel like now, we're going into, for you guys, it'll be 6 years coming up. For us, it'll be 5 years. And so one of the things that we wanted to ask in this episode, like thinking back from then into now, and, with your perspective on the way that, love and marriage kind of comes about, what do you think is a misconception that, maybe you had or you've heard from others? You're sitting across the table, they say something like, and you're thinking to yourself, that's not how any of this works, right? As how we've learned so far. So what's a misconception out there that, maybe you had or you heard is pretty prevalent around amongst people,
For me, I would say, this idea of happiness, right? And where happiness comes from. So I spent a lot of years single. And so you start to tell yourself, if I just find that right guy, I'll be happy, yada, 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 which is true. You may find happiness there, but that is not the sole source of your happiness. And you have to understand that before you go into any relationship, right? So that person is not responsible for your happiness, because you have to be joyful within, by yourself, for yourself, before anyone else could, ever come into that picture. And so I think a lot of times I hear people, who are waiting to find love, and I'll be happy then. Well, you really need to find happiness now, because this thing gonna take you some places. If you don't have that joy already built in, you may not make it. You may not make it. That's what I will say. So that's one of the things.
That's a good one.
Well, I definitely agree on that. If you bring a lot of tools to the project of marriage and dating, and happiness definitely has to be one. And I'll definitely say the concept of transparency, honesty, because I know with me, like I said, we were over 40 when we started. Well, one of us was over 40 when we started dating, and just that transparency that you would expect to be there really wasn't, until I got to this person. And during that whole 3-hour conversation, we were very honest with each other. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. This is what I expect. And this is, even though this is what I do not want. So, definitely that transparency. You want that, you want to give that, and hopefully you receive it as well.
Yeah, that's good, Rodney. That's so important.
Good job.
That's what people say, like, when you dating, they bring the representative. You can't get transparent with the representative,
Right. When you get too deep in that thing, that representative went home.
Right.
And you ask some questions.
And you confused. You real confused there. What? Yeah. So.
What about you guys?
For us, you want me to go?
Oh, you go ahead.
I think for me, and this is pretty recent, I've been hearing more and more in just, culture amongst a couple of people that this serve me. I need the relationship to serve me. And I had particularly heard that with people saying the reason why they leave a relationship, because it's not serving me. That person's not recognizing the greatness in me, and I can't shine to my fullest potential. And I just thought to myself, oh my gosh, right? And I feel like for us, of course, this is the gospel tea. We all are, born again believers. We love the Lord Jesus. We have come into marriage and the marriage covenant with a mindset to follow the model that Christ, has outlined in the Holy Scripture. So I just say that because I know that's very different. But I just thought to myself, and I think I brought it up to you, Standra, like, what would it have meant if we came in thinking, I need you to serve me? like you said, there are going to be times where you might not be happy.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that. I think you gave me a book. Marriage is not about making you happy. It's about making you holy. And there are some, and Jesus, if you model and we say we're following the Lord, all he said was, I came to serve.
Right.
So modeling him before even the marriage part is coming to serve. So it's just the antithesis of coming into a covenant where you're supposed to become one, and I've been hearing it more and more, and I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have made it past the sandy dune that we got married on if I was looking for him to serve me. But that was
Yeah. I think, what a lot of people don't understand too, when you're talking about a relationship or going into a marriage, the level of compromise and giving up of self, right?
Yeah.
That kind of goes back with the serving part of it. But, people don't understand is I knew Tyra was the one when I knew that I would lay down my life for her, right? That's how I knew. I never felt that way about anyone. And, growing up as an only child, there was a lot of emphasis on just me. And I grew into somewhat, it could be a self-centered, mindset. And then just understanding, like, when you are in a relationship, it's not about you anymore. It's a give and take, right? You have to give, a lot, and understand the need of compromise. And sometimes it's, whatever it may come up where it's, you pick your battles, or, for the sake of peace, right? We say, you know what, we're gonna, I'll let you just have this one, right? So I think if people kind of you think about the ultimate sacrifice that Christ gave his life for us, right? Mm-hmm. Same way if we're talking about marriage and how it's supposed to model that, right? We are the bride, of Christ. And, it's like we give up ourselves, right? I give up myself to her, and just have to just constantly work at that. It's a lot of work to put into that.
Definitely. So so that concept, right? So again, if we come into it with that mindset, it may help to smooth some of the road, right? Because I don't think necessarily people understand, even when we say it, right? I would lay down my life for you. Most times people are thinking in the physical sense, because sometimes the physical sense may be easier than this actual day-to-day laying down my life, putting myself aside
for
you, right? So
yeah,
be sure on that thing, right? Be sure that that's the person you are willing to do that for. Would you lay down your life for me?
Time and time again.
Wonderful. So that's the essence of it right there. That is the essence of it.
Yeah.
Is not looking for someone to make you happy, being willing to serve, being willing to lay down your life for that person. And that laying down your life means putting aside your desires, your comfort, right? Yes, you're tired, but your spouse needs you to run to the grocery store or something. Laying down your desires for that person. That's the crux. Yeah. That's the crux.
Good talk. Good talk.
Yeah. So nice spending time with you guys. We've enjoyed this first part of this love and marriage episode. We thank you guys, but we always want to leave you with something to think about. So take a time and think about what you came into your relationship with. What ideals were you holding on to, and what have you had to give up? If you aren't in a relationship yet, think of right now, what are those things you're telling yourself are important, and what's really important? What is God's design for a relationship? And do your ideals match up? So until next time, you guys, we will keep this conversation going. Next time, we're going to be talking about actual marriage and the wonderful things that marriage brings. So be sure to stay tuned. All right. We thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Until next time.